the month of February. February represents Valentine's Day, Black History Month, full of love and history, right? And I was just like, these next 4 weeks in the month of February, we are going to talk about the topics of loving ourselves as mothers. And loving ourselves as mothers is critical because we go through so much with mothers who have children that are incarcerated. And this week is love yourself, right? You're like, Tiffany, what are you talking about? I love myself already. No, do you really love yourself? Like when you look in the mirror, do you say that I'm beautiful? I'm fabulous. Like, do you really love yourself? Every inch of your body. Now, this body over here got some stretch marks, but I love my stretch marks. And I got some cellulite. I love my cellulite. I love it. Again, welcome to another episode of My Child is in Prison. Now what? What do you do when your son or daughter calls you and say, Mom, I just got picked up by the police or I'm in jail? That is what this podcast is about. This podcast, I want to let the world know that us mothers matter. We matter. I don't care. Guilty, not guilty, innocent, not innocent. That is still your child that you birthed. You didn't birth that child to go left. It ended up going right, but it's okay. So let's talk about love thyself, right? As I sit, some days, it took me, first of all, let's just be honest, like we all been through some things in life, right? So you're asking me, Tiffany, did I always love myself? No, I had some low self-esteem issues back in the day. I had all of those back in the days. I had a child, I thought I was going to marry my son's father. I didn't. Now I end up being a single mother. I end up being a statistic, so I had verbal abuse growing up in my household. So I still had the subconscious in the back of my mind. Listen to what my father said, So it took me a long journey to get to where I am, why I love myself. Obviously, I got to give credit to God, but I would say God ordered my steps for me to meet the right people for me to transform to be who I am today. Is it first started off with Mary Kay. I know you're like, Tiffany, Mary Kay. Yeah, Mary Kay, the pink Cadillac, pink Cadillac. I used to sell Mary Kay back in the day. But one thing about Mary Kay is they taught you your self-worth. If anybody that's listening to this episode, if anybody was in Mary Kay teaches you your self-worth. And I thought that Mary Kay, I was going to be a top sales director. I almost made it, but didn't qualify. I almost qualified for the car, not the pink Cadillac, the Grand Am. I was so close to making all that, right? But the more I would go to the Mary Kay conferences, I would go to all those classes, those courses. They literally taught you how to love yourself. It was like therapy for me because it broke down so many walls because I thought I did love myself because I thought I was cute. I liked my outfit, but on the inner me did not love me. Then I started digging in my Bible. God says I'm the head and not the tail. He says I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. All these things I literally was digging, finding in the Bible, and Mary Kay helped me. I know that's crazy. It's crazy. Did not know. Did not know. But here we are in 2025, right? And the month of February, everybody focuses on Valentine's Day and we're getting the cards, we're getting the flowers, we're getting that dress to wear on that date. But as you put that dress on, you zip it up and you put your lip gloss on, do you really love yourself in whatever part of life of season that you're in? By having a son or daughter in prison, does that affect you because your child or daughter is in prison and you feel like a failure as a mother and you feel like you're not worthy enough to be loved? And maybe that's not why you're not dating. There's so many different reasons why people don't date, why their child's incarcerated. Maybe because you don't feel like being involved or you're at a certain age. Tiffany, I've been there, done that. I'm good. I've been married, divorced. I'm good being by myself. Or maybe you're embarrassed because you don't want to tell the new person that your son or daughter is in prison. There's so many different factors when it comes to things like that. So, but my main focus on this episode is, do you love thyself? Do you put yourself first? Do you know the real definition of love? Do you know the true definition of self-worth as a woman? Before you were a mother, you were a woman. We get caught up in I'm a mother. I am a physician. I have 4 kids. I have a nice house. We get caught up in all those titles. But before you were all of that, first you was God's child. You always God's kid. But have you ever just sat down and grabbed that notebook and that pen and just started writing? What do you love the most about yourself? I used to be embarrassed of my stretch marks. I used to hate my stretch marks. And then now I got these love handles in the back. Uh, um, and I just hate it. Right. And I said to myself, what you're going to do, Tiffany, y'all going to come on this journey with me too. I'm going to show y'all how I'm going to transform this back fact that I have, these rows, and I'm going to make my have a phenomenal back. Like, trust me, I'm going to get this together. I still no lie, that is one thing I'm still self conscious of is my back because I don't have the best back. I just gotta just get in the gym and do the right exercise for this back. But other than my back, I really love my body. Stretch marks and all. It took me a long time to get to where I am right now of loving like my stretch marks. Like, when I wear a bathing suit, I don't care if you see my stretch marks. I always there's a thing that I say about people look at my stretch marks. It's like it's a blessing that I have these stretch marks because unfortunately some people can never be a mother, but I birthed out a baby that gave me these stretch marks. So I love all of me. I really do. But it took a while for me to get here. And I just want you to do some soul searching for you in the month of February is, do you truly love yourself? This episode is not about, we're not going to talk about your child being in an 8x10 cell, the struggles that he's going through. This episode is devoted just for you only, mothers. Like, truly only for you. I want you to reflect and ask yourself these questions. Like, what steps did you take to start loving yourself more? Like, it took, you know, just because, you get hit on by men, you think like, oh, I love myself. No, I still had some hidden dark secrets still there and some residue that I was not healed. Thank God for therapy. But really digging in deep, therapy really helped me. And therapy could help you too, to really love yourself in every arena of life. Every arena. We get on social media, we post, and we look like we have our lipstick on and we pose, but the inner man, do you really love yourself? And you're like, Tiffany, yeah, I love myself. So the next question would be, then if you love yourself, then why do you feel guilty, or you feel that guilt because your son or daughter is in prison? Right? Think about it. You say, I love myself, but I feel guilty because my son or daughter's in prison. No, again, I truly believe in therapy because I learned this all in therapy, that I love myself and my son being in prison is not my fault. Like, I really did the best that I could as a mother. And I truly believe that you did the best that you could as a mother. So that's where you start saying, you know what? I love me. I did the best I could. I'm not going to be held in bondage anymore or in captivity of guilt, of shame because my son or daughter's in prison. Here I am, have a podcast talking about my son is in prison. My child's in prison. Now what? It takes a lot to get on the platforms that I have to tell you my struggles and the things that I'm dealing with right now. I'm not on here to say, yeah, my son's in prison. I went through X, Y, and Z. No, I am in this journey with every single one of you mothers that are watching me and that are listening. And I really stress this on probably like on every one of my episodes, is grab a pen and a notebook and just write out the things that you love about yourself or the things that you could be self-conscious of. And you know what? Forget it. I love it. I still wear, even though I don't like my back, I still wear crop tops. My back is out. Because sometimes I'm just like, I don't care. Forget it. Oh, well, whatever. It is what it is. I know if I really put my mind to it, I can really get in the gym and get this back together. And that's what we gonna do. I need y'all to hold me accountable for that. I need y'all to hold me accountable for my back this before the summer get here. Be like, Tiffany, did you get this back together? That's all you gotta put in the comments. Tiffany, you get your back together. I'm gonna take a before and after picture. Um, but these are questions that I want you to ask yourself. And then there's some of you guys are like, Tiffany, I love myself. I'm fine. I'm great. I just deal with, my son's in prison. It just took me down just took me down a path of, sadness, depression, or me not feel like I don't have any drive. So if that is the case, do you love yourself? Because one monkey don't stop no show. Just because Damiani's in prison, I love me enough to get up every day and fight. That's what I'm talking about when you say when you say, Tiffany, I love myself. Do you love yourself enough to give your child over to God and let God deal with it? And you get up and you fight for your dreams, your goals, or whatever that might be for you. If that's just something simple, Tiffany, I just want to walk around my local neighborhood or my community and I'm okay with that. But you're not doing it. Do you love yourself? Because if you love yourself enough, you'll get up and become healthy. If you love yourself enough, you'll drink more water. If you love yourself enough, you would exercise. You would do some self-care. And that is what we're going to do for the whole month of February is self-care and loving on yourself. I want to acknowledge you, beautiful, powerful mother that gets up and goes to work. You have employees that you have to do. You're a manager, or you don't like your manager, but you got to maintain your composure. I want to speak to that mother that's carrying so much on her plate and no one acknowledges you. I want to acknowledge you on this podcast to say that you're amazing. You're doing a hell of a good job as being a mother, a wife, a sister, a friend. You're doing a great job raising those children that are not yours. They're your grandbabies. You're doing a great job of raising your own children while you have a son or daughter that's in prison. As you get off the phone and you go into the bathroom and you tell your kids, I got to go to the bathroom, but you really don't have to go to the bathroom. What you really do is you're going in there to cry and you're going to wipe your face off and go back outside into the living room or in the kitchen and you're going to bake those cookies or watch that cartoon movie that's on Disney. And not show your child, the other child that's in the household, mommy is not good, but you're going to put on that face. I want to salute you because I don't feel like you get recognized. I want to recognize every single mother that has a struggle when it comes to putting on that face, and you got to make it work, even when you don't want to make it work. I want to salute you. But let's start doing this in the month of February to the end of the year is love thyself. Again, grab that notebook, look in the mirror, look at yourself. I know it's tough. I'm in this with y'all. I can't make this up because y'all can Google. My son is still in prison. He's still in there. And the video visit was canceled. That was supposed to be Sunday and it got canceled. And I'm learning that just because a video visit is canceled is not to always go into shock. Like, oh my God, was a lockdown. I was sad because I really wanted to hear his voice and I wanted to see him because I wanted to see how long his hair is. And the other part of me, my son and I, once you guys see him and talk to him, y'all will see our chemistry. He's funny. And I was kind of like a little bummed that day. And I was so geeked to hear his voice. And then I get an email saying canceled. Those be the worst. I swear to God, those be. But that's where I love myself enough to get up, to go walk Marley and to go grab a cup of coffee, and walk her an extra mile and just embrace what's in front of me and thank God that it was just a lockdown versus something else. But I want you guys to take steps, baby steps, to loving yourself again. Self-care moments, if you have to do a bubble bath, some rose petals, candles, and just love yourself. There's times where I would do back in the day is I would literally stand in the mirror naked and look at my body and be like, ugh, ugh. But as I got older, I would look at my body and start loving who I am. The stretch marks, didn't care. Hair, hair not long enough. I got a pimple. I realized that I really do love me and I am fearfully and wonderfully made. And it's okay to have a moment, mamas. I just want to make sure that you love you enough. I think Marley wants to get up here. And there she goes. Yes. Okay. For y'all that's listening, Marley just jumped up here on the couch with me. My little sidekick. She my little sidekick. Okay. I was trying to get her to lay on me, but she looking at me side eye. Okay. Never mind. Okay. But I want you guys to do these 3 things for me this week, not within this month, but this week. I want you to do something for yourself. I don't care what it is. Something for yourself. Look in that mirror. Now, I would say this, y'all. I don't know if y'all ever do this. I would say just get naked. Get naked, close the door, and look at yourself literally and say, I love me. I know you're like, Tiffany, that's crazy. I'm telling y'all, I've done these things. I wouldn't be where I am now if I didn't go through this. Mary Kay has taught me so much about self-worth, self-love, everything, and what I can control. I can't control that the prison was on lockdown. I can't control that I didn't get to hear his voice. I can't control that. But when you really love yourself, for real, your children can see that mom is different. Your husband can see my wife is different. When you really take the time to do self-care, and I'm not just talking like facials, all that is good, but when you really do some soul searching on what triggers you, what makes you become sad, why don't I love myself? Or I do love myself. If you love yourself and you know you do, help the next mother who's struggling. Because at the end of the day, we all need each other. This is a community for mothers with children that are incarcerated. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. My Child is in Prison, Now What podcast. I want you to share this to every mother that has a son that is incarcerated or a son that could be going to prison based off his behavior. I want to be able to touch every single mother that is struggling when it comes to having a child in prison. It is not the easiest thing, but I know my mission. I know my assignment. My assignment is to find mothers who have children that are in prison who are struggling and to figure out, what do you do when you get to this place when your child goes to prison? After you go through therapy, now what? Now that your son is going to serve a 10 or 15-year sentence, you just can't sit and just go to work and come home. You still have something within you. And we're going back to love, right? Loving yourself. You're like, Tiffany, I do love myself. If you love yourself enough, then why haven't you fulfilled that purpose? That's part of love. You love yourself enough that I'm going to fight for my dream, my goal. I'm not going to let this pain have me stuck. That's part of loving yourself. I love myself enough to get up, to make a video, to edit this episode, to promote the podcast, to find other mothers, to get on TikTok, to get on live, to do any type of streaming. I love myself enough to find other mothers because I want them to feel loved and not alone, because this journey is no joke and it's not for the weak. It's not. And sometimes you do feel broken. In the beginning, I was broken. I was shattered. I was all over the place. But the one thing that got me to where I am right now is God. God therapy. And you already know Jesus' first miracle is his wine. Thank you, Jesus. Let's bow our heads for that. Okay. Um, but no, seriously, God got me out of this place of darkness, and I had a spiritual mentor that God used, and I had a therapist. I had to go back to find out, okay, Tiffany, and forgive myself. It's okay to say, you know what, I messed up. That's part of loving you. Okay, I love you. I messed up. You look yourself in the mirror and be like, okay, Tiffany, you shouldn't have made that move. Forgive me, I shouldn't have done that. When you forgive yourself, that's a part of loving you. Accepting, like, okay, I made a mistake. Don't beat yourself up for it. Because if you beat yourself up for it, for the mistakes you made or whatever you did, is that loving you? Like, don't beat yourself up because of what your son or daughter has done. Love you all over again. Remind you as you listen to this episode, I want you to know that your little children are watching you. Your grandchildren are watching you. They Kids know us better than we know ourselves. Children know if mommy truly loves herself because children can pick up on things. They can pick up on it. Trust me. I got little nieces and they little comments be tripping me out. So kids be knowing, especially these advanced, just these kids that was born in 23 and all these kids that was born in 2000s. They know 2000 and y'all know 2020. All them kids that was born in, they know. But again, I want you to ask yourself this. What steps are you taking to start loving yourself more? Like one of my steps is I cut back eating certain foods. I love my body. I know you're like, Tiffany, what? I love my body, so I can't eat certain foods because I'm 40 and some change. So there's certain things I just can't do anymore because I love me. And I'm learning, like, for me to live a long, healthy, prosperous life, I got to take care of this temple that I'm in. I'm not going to be like, a size 2. That ain't never going to happen. And, I ain't going to look like Kim Kardashian, Beyonce, Taylor Swift. I'm not going to look like them. I'm not. But I'm going to look like Tiffany and get it together and maintain my weight and eat healthier and drink more water, and my vegetables. That is a part of loving myself more. So the question is, what are you going to do? What steps are you going to take to love yourself more? Or what steps are you going to take to figure out, well, do I really love myself? Am I upset? Do I not? Do I feel like I made all these mistakes so I don't feel worthy enough? I want to tell you right now, you are worthy enough. All you have to do is just say, you forgive yourself. And I strongly, strongly believe in finding a therapist and grabbing that notebook. Here's another question. Like, when did you realize, I think I asked this one, like, when did you realize that you were struggling with self-love? I realized that I was struggling with self-love is when I dealt with a lot of men in my life. I didn't know it, but that's when I realized that I was struggling with it. Your struggles could be different from mine. That was my struggle back in the day. It's not my struggle anymore, but that was my struggle back in the day. And I have no problem saying that because I'm free from it and I have repented for it. And you're not God, so I don't care if you judge me or not because God has forgiven me. But I had to get to a place to be like that, though. That didn't happen overnight. For me to be like, I can say, yeah, I did X, Y, and Z, and people are so quick to judge you. But again, it took me a while to get to where I am right here. This didn't happen overnight. So I'm 40 and some change, and I feel like I'm wiser because I've asked God for more wisdom and knowledge and understanding. and for me to figure out what do I need to improve in is for me, not for anybody else, but just for me, my self-worth, self-love. There's so many self-help books about self-care or yeah, self-care and loving yourself and how to love yourself and the things there's tips and tools and all that. All that is on Amazon. You guys can find that. Type that in. Again, what tools are you going to take in this week to truly dig deep and be like, I am worthy. I am worthy enough to get up, to go write that book. I am worthy enough to start baking cookies and maybe start a bakery. I am worthy enough to start writing poems. I am worthy enough to start becoming a painter. Because if you love yourself enough, you're not going to let these fears hold you back. Who cares what people think? Who cares? Our children are in prison. They already talking about us already because our kids in prison. So you might as well just be like, you know what? I'm going to just push out and just do what I need to do. And just do it. Like, literally, y'all, I'm telling you, grab that pen and that paper and write out whatever your struggles are, the pros and cons of whatever you need to do to figure it out. Again, love thyself is what we're going to talk about this week. Is loving yourself. We're in the month of February where it's filled with Valentine's Day and, Black History Month. I need you. History. What is your history with love? What's your relationship with love? What does that look like? What is your relationship with you? You versus you. Nobody else. You versus you. I want y'all to sit on that because we're not in competition with each other. It's you versus you. So when your son or daughter gets out of prison, the one thing I want my son to see when he comes home is my mom has changed. He can see it. He can hear it in the conversations, but to actually see it, that is the one thing that I want my son to notice about me because we've been through a lot. And I was a tough mama, a very tough mama. And that is one thing I want him to see, that my mom has changed through this process for the better, not for the worse. I want him to see love, just the love and the energy just flowing out of me. Because you can feel when someone's like really genuine, they got filled with love. You can really feel it. And I want my son to see that my mom has did the work to become who she is, because it does not. You just can't wake up and be like, oh, I love myself. I'm going to be okay. I'm going to start doing the business. I'm going to start writing the book. I'm going to go ahead and start the construction site. I'm going to go ahead and start doing the trucking business. Yeah. Okay. It's not how that works. It takes time. Everything is a process. Again, you guys, subscribe to the channel, share this, leave a comment. I want to know what you guys are thinking what steps are you going to take? Or you're like, or tell me, Tiffany, I love myself. And if you love yourself, what steps did you take to get to where you are? Because now you love yourself. To those who already like, Tiffany, yeah, I love myself. What steps did you get to get here? Because life has thrown us life has been rough. If you came from a good family and you didn't come from a verbal abuse, you didn't have to do the therapy to get this, to be worthy enough. Unfortunately, I came from a verbal abuse household since I was 5 years old. And that messed me up. I didn't think I was worthy enough. I didn't think I was smart enough. It took a lot. So my question to you is, what steps are you going to do within this week? I want to see it in the comments. I want to see it. If you want to leave me a message on my podcast, please email me. I want to know what steps you are taking this week to love thyself. You guys, again, it's your girl, Tiffany Nicole. Y'all, my child is in prison. Now what? Well, let me tell you now what. You're going to subscribe, you're going to follow, you're going to share, and I'm going to help you through this journey. You guys, it's your girl, Tiffany Nicole. Till the next one.